It's just cat fights. I used to chase other guys. Dare to come to this area. But a brat like in the ass. It's not easy to handle. A punch like this, asking for the execution of others, is an illusion. Too much power. It's time to respond. Your hands are itchy this life. From the time he was struck by the Lord, he was crippled. It's not over yet. These mantis dare to lay down their lives. In the end, the price is to ignore it. All brothers and sisters. Everyone is shocked. In the middle of the ass is still extremely bloody fire. He was angry and shouted out loud. Rai reminded them once. Let me tell you this is the Spanish sword of the great flower of that sect. These fucking beggars. The sound of boo-boo punching each other echoed through the market. The screams of the poor. So no one's face is intact. You have to wait until you get to your feet. They just bowed their heads. Sir, I'm really sorry, sir. The middle buttocks soon became the leader. It's extremely rugged. Who looks at you as a beggar? They're confused about what to say. It's called a beggar. If you say that, he is still happy. What dare to call me a beggar? He was so helpless to put his head down. It seems boring to play. You're not kidding, you're in the business. Come on, guys. Do you know how to get to the west fastest? No. They immediately laughed out loud, ha 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 ha. You ask the obvious. They thought they knew enough to say that. Who cares if they answer? If we knew that, why are you begging again? You have to ask something reasonable. Ha 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 ha. So it turns out, I went to the riverbank looking for wine. They don't understand what the middle of the butt is barking at, but I saw him laughing, so I jumped in. They all laughed, ha ha ha. But you don't want to joke. Unconsciously grabbed the collar of the leader. It startled him. He threatened with a very dangerous voice. Be prepared how to deal. If you see me again. If I ask if you know me. If you don't like to die, you have to say it. You know what? If you know, go listen. Everyone here is wearing 8-way pants and running sandals. That's a crazy god. At the same time, in a foggy country far away. Beautiful, majestic scenery. It's much bigger in places like the Kier slums. A gray-haired old man is standing watching the sunset, but wandering in the beautiful scenery. Suddenly, someone came in to call the chief. I am the desert. The door slowly opened. A monk came in to report the situation. There's nothing very important about this. But there's a kid out there who wants to see you. The old man suddenly asked which child. Coming in from the outside is a very stylish boy. Polite greeting with poise. Good morning, Cardinal. My name is Middlebutt, and I want to join the Hua Sect. Want to join SAO? He tilted his head and asked UM. You also know that the school, we don't accept any more members. Why not tell this boy? The hesitant answer. The disciple has said, but he insisted on seeing Master Cho. The student is not any other way. The two of them looked at each other. Your ass can see your determination. He's dying like a wild cat abandoned in the village. Looking stiff but smiling heart-throbbing aesthetic. Even the smile on my lips. But my life has never been okay. To know why at SAO, let's go back in time a little bit. A few moments before Chu But went to see the elder. You are so tired. You have to use a tree to break a drum to walk. It's finally here. The mountain is here. But there's a problem in front of you. Those guys show the way in a mess. But even SAO has arrived. The next time I see you, I won't. Now, Zhang's ass has just scratched that broken body. Just thought enough. Let's just climb the mountain. That's a shame for this 11-year-old. The sound of gasping to the brim. Then every heavy step. They keep repeating over and over again for a long time. Even if you die, you must climb to the top. Not to mention that there is a mountain to climb. Your ass is almost out of order. You've lost another life. You're scared, but still try to clench my teeth tight. Look up high. Nothing is impossible, just a strong will. You take a deep breath. Try to climb up before it gets dark. We will get to the top of the mountain. Until the afternoon. Along with the fatigue of the body and the rusting of clothes. Bonus, where's the panic going? Where's the nameplate? The sky-beaten table that you clean every morning. Where'd it go, man? It's crazy. Middle buttocks look at the cover of your Hua Sect. The present is so broken. There's even a deserted temple. It hurts so much that it can no longer stand. Who's screaming so loud? Is M. You're the first of the sect to meet. Who can be called? The old monk of Hua Sun. Open a boy. Who brought you here alone? You've climbed all the way up here. Your ass is stuck, that? You whispered, oh no, you're flying up. Don't close the door. I have something to ask. Are you practicing martial arts in the Hua Sun sect? I still do not understand the will of the enemy. He replied in bewilderment by inertia. That's right, the Middle East is happy. So the Hua Sun sect still exists. You invited your ass in, though. I don't know the boy's name. We currently do not accept outsiders, but it's too late. It is not safe to go down the mountain. I can't leave him alone in the dark. Down this mountain. Back to the mountains on a cold evening. My ass just walked through the door. Your face, like someone who sees his own death. It's a sand field like this. The jade floor is gone. I asked if something was wrong. You remind yourself to calm down. Even if they are just rocks. Maybe when the sect runs out of money. Had to sell them. After thinking it through, he pretended to be happy. The training ground is very spacious and beautiful. In a few seconds, the strange expression appeared. But that. Where is the palace covered in white gold? This place, you have to say. It looks missing there. That place has always been empty. He calmly replied. He seems to have noticed. You know there was a palace there. Children like you don't understand. I continued with a very proud voice. It's a bit embarrassing to say this as a fighter. But I think it's the glorious result of a glorious ass. Told my mouth to say that. Interrupting the words of Am. You turn around and pretend you didn't say anything. Follow me, I have work to do. My ass is not curious to ask anything else. You know, it's not their fault or anything. Everyone is sure It's been very difficult to keep the sect alive. This is Dujiang Pagoda. This place is intact. Our school is a martial arts school. There are also rules for guests to stay. Come here and burn incense to your ancestors. You're hiding from extreme panic. You're wearing a shirt. Incense holder and candle holder, handed down from the life of the great patriarch, antiques from the dynasty above. All the scrolls are handwritten by the instruments, and gold ornaments as well. The paintings that used to hang all over this room, they're all gone. And most importantly, no, there must be flowers here. Your ass looks like a psychopath. Crazy six controls everywhere. You turn around grumpy with am right, where is it? I'm sorry, the boy knows about it. He thought for a moment. There used to be one. A white peach blossom made of a very strange metal. There it is. Where is it? Sold, he said very frankly, 01 little thought. We don't see any use for it. It also looks good on the temple, so I don't know what to do with it. Fortunately, there was a merchant who bought it at a bargain price. It sounds like lightning hitting your ears, helplessly kneeling to the ground. You remember your previous best friend. I treasure these treasures more than my life. Sao Hein Hoa Sun fraternity has collapsed. White peach blossom of the fragrance of darkness, and the purple dawn sword. Two treasures of the sect. 7 like gold, not as bright as silver. But they're treasures. Contains the soul of the whole sect. And these idiots are selling them. We don't accept to look at them. Make one more disastrous mistake. He bowed his head screaming, I really do. Please, let me see the cardinal. I want to join the sect. So that's the end of the struggle. To get more motivation to meet the principal and join the Hoa. Current paint. Now back to reality. The director was a little nervous after listening. I want to join SAO. So you know about the existence of the Hoa Sun sect. The middle buttocks appear to be urgent. Yes, it is. But it seems like he won't let me join easily. I have a plan in mind, though. I just need to say the name Chung Trin, who disappeared in the middle of the war that year. I'll tell you this. Chung Trin fell down the cliff. A woodcutter saved him. Because the wound is too heavy, the center cannot move immediately, and to repay the woodcutter, Chung Chin passed down the swordsmanship of the Hoa Sun sect to him, and accepted him as a disciple. And I'm a descendant of that woodcutter. The best part of this plan, it's putting me on the same level as the head wind. Let's say the woodcutter is my grandfather in theory. We are on the same level as the wind. Your plan is awesome, I have to be on a higher level than these kids. Yes, even if he refuses, or asks me why. Your ass is so confident with the guesses in your head. The elder quickly agreed. I accept your request to join your faction. Put a big question mark for both Yuang Am and Middle Ass. You are a real one. I was so determined. We can't refuse either. It is difficult to understand the first price. Not what you said. Will not accept any more students, as Sao. The old man shook his head, and I changed my mind. Our ass is hard. Squeeze your brain to think. His books are not out of surprise. He must be suspicious of the stranger. Ask to join the group. In exchange, the boss likes you. This boy, I was alone in finding my way to this mountain. We don't chase the birds to the eaves. We also give animals food to shelter from the rain. When they come in the winter. Why did you kick a boy out? Asking to join the group. Prepare the place for the boy and get ready for the entrance. My ass can't believe my eyes. I can't believe your perfect plan. You want to put yourself on the same level. Elder Hoa-san has successfully cup. Just accept it. Anyway, the main goal has been achieved. You've entered the Hua Sect. Get the uniform of a bow member. Is the lowest. I'm in a pretty old room. This place used to be magnificent. You can be the living room. You're wearing a uniform and you're going everywhere. It's a strange feeling that everything here has changed. Hua Sect does not have its own division system. Every new member, they made a covenant with their master. I will be in the same room with my teacher. Convenient for teaching care. Middle buttocks after being admitted to the break room. Curious to walk into the next room. Open the door and look inside. This means that there are people in the other room. While I was looking, suddenly someone saw me. That person comes up screaming AI. Inadvertently turning around. During the day, looking at other people's rooms. Are you a thief? The questioner looked like a disciple in the sect. Others who heard the noise also came forward to ask, what's so noisy? Why? A high school student came over to ask what was wrong. Gone. The old man explained, brother. This kid was caught by Tang. Look at your room, and your ass is whining inside. Oh God, I like to bring disaster on my head like this. The warden felt the commotion coming. Grandpa, loud voice order. Why is it so loud as the market? In the middle of training, dare to gather in the break room to cause trouble? The disciples answered with their heads bowed. They really dare not do that. As if one of them stood bewildered. That's the new guy. The manager saw that and asked, who are you? He replied, the name of the disciple is Middle Butt. He asked again, a new member joined the group, right? He asked and turned his voice slightly. It's late. Go and rest. But starting tomorrow, take part in martial arts training with your brothers. And the rest of you gather in the yard. The disciples ran, obeying orders. The gun goes back to the middle and calls him Kier. I'll figure you out later. I'll teach you a lesson. He and his disciples went out. Leave your ass in the middle of the room. The boy stood there and thought. You want that? Dear lovely descendants of the Hua Sect. You put on a puzzling face. You'll be honored to receive my special attention. However, my special, it's a little different from everyone's special. It's not our problem. I thought you smiled in a horrible way. That night, in the rest area, arrogant Yogan ordered his ass off. Open his SAO. What the fuck is off? Asked the puzzled little boy. He pretended to ask to take off his clothes. This is how people get to know new people. You know, take off all your clothes. Dance a little and be massaged by the brothers. What's so happy about? That's what makes a good impression on you. You seem to understand. Take off your clothes. Come on, Gold Boy ordered. Now you're asking him a question. You're wrong. Where's the dorm warden? Brother included. The police officer was absent in the afternoon. Why are you so talkative? I've changed my mind. Starting from massages laced always go quick. Suddenly, the brother called his brother, and he said, I am. Join the fight around your neck. Brother didn't understand what to ask. Before I could talk, I was punched in the mouth. Straight punches distort the whole mouth. He flew straight up to the ceiling, creating a huge shake. The dust was flying everywhere. The disciples stood by and watched the story. Look up. Brother Gun's head is firmly planted on the roof. Harass said with a smile, get the massage you want. Then you look at the screaming people. You motherfuckers too. The children's screams echoed through the night. After a while, the bullying was transformed. You tell the person behind you, Brother Chun Cotton, can you have a more mindful massage? Because you are the oldest here, that's why you gave me a special massage. I heard that brother scared. Yes, ma'am, I'll have a better massage. Front. The young man was a row of disciples bowing their heads. Each of them has a large lump. He looked at the guy who was going to punch him. The boy's body trembled and stood up. I dare not take half a step. You see that ass twisting? Come closer. You don't have to be afraid to eat meat. Because I'm new, I haven't. Clearly the situation in the camp. I hope my dear brother will answer some of your questions. The poor child's face was bruised and answered. I'll answer whatever you ask. Where has the Golden Palace gone? Why is it that our sect? It's become a mess again. Middle asked wondering. Yokel thought for a moment and said yes, because. Do you know about the flower sword? The middle of the face is bewildered. And then he explained, according to the story. The sword contributed greatly in the destruction of evil foot ghost, but after that battle, the rest of the demons are angry. Draw troops into the army. They even went to Mount Hua and set the mountain on fire. The fire that time has caused extremely serious damage. Until now, we still can't fix all the damage. Listen to what you think. Now I understand. The reason why Hoa-san became exhausted is now. It's my fault. Why is my life so ironic? I think the guy laughed in his heart, ha 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 ha. I remember my conversation with the four of you. In my previous life, I was lacking in words. Magic illusory sword lack of religious hold, and it's not very powerful. I don't see any problem. If we remove it from the moves of Hoa-san sect, what do you think? You said you just ate cake. It's obviously not very useful. We'd better get rid of it. From you, sigh and explain. This is disrespectful to the ancestors. My ass said I didn't have to give up completely. As long as the kids aren't interested in it. Just to lead it in the library. S.A. looked at you for a long time and agreed to say, a good idea. We will do it your way. He was silent for a moment. Speak again, but the middle of the ass. You didn't call me here to talk about it. I want you to think about something more important. What do you think about taking in your own disciples? My buttocks swallowed the piece of cake I was chewing, and then I broke the cake in my hand. I asked you what was stressing you out. He squeezed the cake, and Chu said with a smile, "First, I'll beat them up. The moment of death is the time they will create miracles." The two of you suddenly stopped talking. Back to reality in the American room. From then on, Master, you never mentioned me. To receive disciples. Looking back on the past, Chun called. Great CA. Chu as Nasty said, "Don't say it in a crooked voice. You are me." He said, "Yes, I hear you." The guards are calling you down to the martial arts training ground. It's urgent. He said, "I will be training with you today." Outside, the disciples gathered and trained, each with a wooden sword. Someone was controlling him, and he screamed at me. All the disciples are at the back of the sword. Extremely uniform. He shouted, "Prepare to cut." The children then swung their swords. From the middle of the buttocks stand watching. Middle lack of incomprehensible voice. Ask the guy what he's doing. He looked at the instructor. He's cutting from high to low. In an incomprehensible way. Answer immediately. The great CA is teaching them. It's a technique of maintaining equilibrium when use the sword. A rudimentary technique of the Hua Sect for those who are just starting out. My ass is getting more confused. What do you think is the rudimentary technique of the crooked school? This is where they're dancing the comedy sword. Keep practicing like that. The kids won't be able to progress. It's like making babies read the alphabet. Learning to skate can help you learn a little faster. But just a little bit. Technique super. Without a solid foundation, it's nothing. And I would rather not teach this kind of thing. I think you just walked into the crowd. The kids are scared. When I saw you walking by, I didn't dare wave my sword. Some people also stop. Let's see what the CA is doing. He's in line, and he's looking up. I looked at the sky and complained. The sky is beautiful today. Blue sky, 01 ripple clouds. It's like the Hua Sect. There is no future. Where to start? He turned to the man next to his brother. The guy next to you heard the big question. Middle brother asked, "Other than that, you've got something else?" The boy trembled a little and said, "A completed training. Here, we learn the 7 hero sword techniques. Then I graduated from elementary school and learned more advanced techniques. After learning it all, to learn the exclusive technique of the sect." Listening to that, Chu but sighed. He muttered, "After learning it all, to learn the exclusive technique of the sect." The boy next to him continued with the magic sword. In a moment, the great CA Trung stood in the picture of what you asked. The name of the trick just came into my head, are the memories about the conversation between Big Brother and the two of you. Brother said, "God of illusory sword. It lacks the element of elders and power is not strong. You see it as a useless trick. Such a technique cannot be used. We should get rid of it. You don't believe what you hear. That trick? We've decided to get rid of it. God of illusory sword. 24 great ways to dig the sword is not learned. The disabled. The teacher above reminded me. Who's talking during practice? Step up here immediately. At night at the Chinese guest house called Brother. Brother Robun. You are afraid to respond immediately. Yes, CA, my son said, don't call me that. Yes, CA Gun replied. My ass asked if I could ask you something. Yes, but what is it you say? Tell everyone at 5:00 tomorrow gather before the dorm. And prepare for the next few. Prepare for each of these 5 things. After listening, confused to ask again. You really want me to prepare those things? You mean you can't do it? He asked with a smile. Yoan was afraid to say no, I didn't say that. When you say that, you chase your brother away. As expected, I like your enthusiasm. You're ready. After he left, Middle Butt stood in the hallway. The current thinking of Hoa-san is lacking both economically, skill and talent. Such a sect would collapse overnight. It's no surprise. In these 3 things, the only thing in my control is talent. Currently, the disciples in the school doesn't seem very talented, but they say thousands of miles. We also have to go step by step. He looked at his brother's back for a moment. Think again. Helping you progress is my first task. 5:00 the next morning. Just as I was told. Even if they are sleepy, they will obey. Focus outside the dorm. There was a man who seemed angry. What a dirt head. Let's get our brothers up this early. Right, brothers? He turned to the Yogan and Chun asked. While the 2 of them quietly thought. Kier probably wasn't there the day before. Listen to the noise and ask. You seem to have something to tell me. They all looked at the person who had just spoken. The noisy man turned to look. It's screaming at you. To get my brothers together at 5 o'clock in the morning. You don't know the old man's glasses. Close your eyes and think of something. Then he happily said, oh dear brothers. I'm really sorry. I'm not in the mood to make you angry. To make up for this mistake, I invite you to come in with me. The disciples were angry. You were led inside. Are you happy to say something? When it's all in, the door is closed. Inside and out is a dead silence. Some of the disciples standing outside anxiously looked inside. I don't know what happened. But after a while, the dorm started shaking violently. Brother Yang looked at the house. Open your eyes and your heart to think that collective housing is. It's like flying off the ground. The dust is flying everywhere. Shaking Yugen noticed that. The people inside were like screaming ghosts running out. Your ass is finally talking. The disciples all stood up straight, and he said, well. Order, not brother. The warden wakes up. Listen, you walk away and say. From now every morning at this hour, we will train our brothers. Time goes on, and the sun is rising. I went to the rooms. The prison guard has woken up. He feels strange. I wonder how strange no one came to greet me. That means they're all still sleeping unwell. So you go to bed. Just changing clothes and thinking. Maybe it's related to a new disciple joining the sect. Maybe they're still tired. After their bizarre welcome ceremony, he opened the door and walked out. Walk to the training ground and think. Be strict with them this time. And I thought if your gold was a little too much. Then Chung Cotton stopped it. The guard walked to the training ground, and he was surprised. The disciples are lying inside. I am full of injuries. Some of them say, "Save me, Mom." Bewildered thinking, what's happened to them? He raised his voice and asked what was going on here. I'm asking you. The frightened disciples just looked at each other in silence. The warden thinks they can't talk. For whatever reason, it came to me. You dare not tell the truth. He looked around and saw the yogin. His body became weak. 2 wooden sword handle. The breath is tired. Astounding Gum said. And behind that yogin is the middle butt Sao. Middle buttocks grip the wooden stick in the hand. Ready to get into position. You take a deep breath. Then slowly lift the heavy weight that's on your shoulder. The stone moves slowly. In the blink of an eye, the middle buttocks lifted those 2 giant stones up. Mouth murmuring 10,065. Right now, middle ass, pay attention. I saw Master Umgum staring at me. You're happy to say hello to the warden. Mr. Ulgum is still in shock. Because of the scene in front of me, he's confused about the aesthetics of this kid. How healthy is it after all? Lifting such a heavy stone, and my feet didn't shake even a little bit. It's unbelievable. He hurriedly shouted. Somebody get some water here quickly. Chu Buttocks scratching his head, shyly said, Hi, you are so kind, and you give me water. You get 8 cold drinks. Drink it as if you have been thirsty for a long time. Waiting for you to finish drinking, Umgum asked. If you're done drinking, talk. What's the situation like after all? He said, pointing to the disciples who were struggling. Tired of the ground. The smiling ass replied. It's nothing, sir. We are just from today. I decided to exercise in the morning together. Haha, because it was the first day. Want to show determination. You should practice a little too much. It's nothing. Show determination, Sao moved out, or glance. Look at the disciples in the back. They're constantly shaking their heads in denial. See them like that. The middle buttocks glowed with threatening blood. Think in your heart and see. All the kids, they're all looking at this kid in fear. My son is afraid of a new kid. Does that sound like a myth? You have to teach him again. Think for a moment, he said. Bak Ma Yuan children have rules of Bak Ma Yuan. How dare you reduce your sleep time and increase the training time like that? I see his attitude like that. Silent as saying nothing. He replied bluntly, then I won't do that again. Now it's Mr. Ulgum's turn to panic. I can't understand why you think there's something wrong with this. Why the hell are we so excited? So we have to check this kid for being disrespectful to his brothers. I see the buttocks in front of me, smiling, looking at me. He was in a hurry to get himself back in the mood. If you do that, what kind of system is it? Disciples of Mount Hua Sect. taught by me personally. I can't deal with a new kid.